Pleased to be joined now by the Killer Bee herself, Bee Nguyen, all the way from the States. You're going to be fighting soon again, finally back in action, taking on the Shadow
Yes.
Cat from Malaysia, Jihin Radzuan. This one's going to be a good one. How are things and how tough has it been having to wait so long to get back in action?
Oh man, it's been tough. I've always been a really active fighter, and one knows I never really care who I fight, when and where. I just want to stay active. So that's been really, really tough for me. But I'm really excited for my return because of it. It's just a lot of pent up aggression and artistic, like ready to let go, So I'm excited for it.
I remember seeing way back when you were training at Tiger, it feels like a long time ago now, and you had a fight booked. And I feel like there was a lot of disappointment and kind of an emotional roller coaster of kind of you having to put yourself in a camp, get ready, get emotionally in the zone, and then have fights be cancelled kind of due to things out of your control. I know this happens in MMA all the time, but I don't think anyone could have really called this. How tough was that spell for you and having to go back to the US?
It was so tough. It was 3 months of just on camps and off camps. Like I was injured, and then COVID hit, and then my opponent, and then borders closing. And even now, I was supposed to fight a little while back, but something happened again. So it's just like constant. I just don't even want to say it because I'm like sitting here just like I don't want to say anything until I get on a plane and I get into that ring. Like I everything is so uncertain right now. And it's just been me trying to take it by stride, and just being really grateful because although it's been really disappointing for me, I've fared way better than a lot of people during this pandemic.
This is a big one in terms of the atomweight division. I'm excited. A lot of my peers are excited. I know the fighters are excited too for the announcement of an atomweight Grand Prix. Now, we don't know who's in it yet, and there's not been like a double confirmation of it, but this looks like an opportunity that the winner of this fight gets a place in the Grand Prix. Have you heard that? Is that your understanding? Is that the way you feel about this matchup?
Um, I haven't. It's not confirmed. But I will say this, and I don't ever look past fights, so I'm really just focused on Jihin as an opponent, as a single fight, a win that I need to get, so I don't put extra pressure on myself or anything like that. But what I do see is I Chachi's been really good at keeping a secret, and so we know for sure the top five is going to be in it. We don't know what the rest is going to be, and he could be changing his mind. Like it's really up to Chatri and the team, So we really don't know. And instead of stressing myself trying to figure out what they're thinking, I'm just going to go out there and definitively get this finish. Get a highlight reel if possible, and if I am in the discussion, I want to shut the maybe down. I want to show what the fans already know. I want to show the promotion that if you want to show, you got to put me in it. I'm the firecracker. You got to shake things up a bit. I think I would be the one to shake things up a bit in that division.
Jihin seems like a really interesting challenge. She's coming off of a loss, but against Denise Sambuanga, who's number one contender. And, she's got some wins over Jamari Torres, Jenny Huang, Priscilla as well. She lost to Gina Inyong, but she seems like one of the best fighters, certainly out of Malaysia and in Southeast Asia. So how intrigued by this challenge? Are you by this challenge?
I love it. I think it's a really good matchup. I think that I'm excited about it, but yeah, I'm excited about it. So I think Jahin is a well-rounded fighter, but I don't think she's spectacular in one thing. She's just a well-rounded MMA fighter. I know she's gotten a lot of submissions on the ground, so I'm really excited to showcase my ground. I did showcase a little bit of it in my debut, but I think that the fact that I just enjoy striking and banging, fans just haven't seen me on the ground yet, and so that's gonna be. I think this is the fight that's going to allow me to showcase that.
Your last fight was back in November. It seems like a while ago now against Stamp, decision. Did you take anything away from that? How did you feel about that? Well, obviously, there's a lot of hype around Stamp, and people expect big things from her. What did you make of her in that fight, and what did you learn about yourself? What did you come away with?
You know, there is a lot of hype around Stamp, but there's a reason for it. I've gained so much respect for her that fight. Going into it, I don't know if I respected her MMA that much because she really wasn't challenged. Her opponents before me were not, I don't think, a challenge enough for Stamp. And I said that going into the fight, and I still feel the same way. But she definitely showed me that she's young and she's catching up to MMA real well, and her Muay Thai is really transitioning really well over to MMA. So I thought it was a great fight, and it ended up being a challenge for both of us. And I think it was really fight of the year, and it was just incredible. I take pride in my fighting. I take pride in showing heart, and I take pride in battling in front of millions of people. So that for me was thrilling, super gratifying. Even though I lost, it was gratifying as an artist and a athlete. I think that Stamp is going to have a tough time in the Grand Prix though, because people have now she's showcased more of her game, and now people are watching Stamp, and now there's something to prepare for, and now you know what Stamp's good at and what she's not good at and where. So she's gonna have to really bring it if she's in the Grand Prix. And I would love a rematch in the Grand Prix. I think that would be amazing.
That'd be very cool. Are we going to see you back out here in Southeast Asia? Did you have a good time when you're out in Tiger? Do you feel at home there? Is that somewhere that you see yourself coming back to?
I was actually gonna move home. I was actually gonna move back to Vietnam when the pandemic hit. I was just going home. I was going back to America to sort things out. I sorted it out. I was ready to move to Vietnam, and then the pandemic hit and the borders closed. So, of course, I love Southeast Asia. I love the movement and we had a lot of momentum going with MMA growth in Vietnam, and we were working with a lot of gyms, a lot of charities for young women and self defense. So I was really excited about that. I'm hoping to resume that sometime in the next year, and it would be really nice to make a bigger impact. And it'd be really nice to go back to Vietnam with an interim, with a Grand Prix belt.
Would you be in Ho Chi Minh City? Where's your base there? Where's your gym there?
I would be in Ho Chi Minh City. I train MMA at Saigon Sports Club, and I do my fitness at California Fitness in yoga. So those two places are my home in Ho Chi Minh.
We talked about how much progress there's been. I think I've spoken to Martin about it. I was speaking to Kung Lee about it as well in the last few weeks. And since I first interviewed you, which was over a year ago, I think there's been so much progress. And it seems to me more or less that MMA is good to go now in Vietnam, but then the pandemic hit. But how exciting is that? I know that those two guys I mentioned are so excited to be kind of at the forefront of making MMA happen and making sure that they're driving it. Do you feel that way as well? I mean, not just being on the card, but being someone who really helps pioneer this sport in Vietnam and pushes it and makes it happen and brings up young fighters. Is that how you feel as well?
Yes, for sure. I take a lot of pride in it. Martin, I know, I've been with him, and he's done a lot of work with the government alongside One Championship. So Martin has done a lot of groundwork on MMA being legalized in Vietnam. I think that I have something special going with my representation specifically towards the girls, the young girls, because really even sport itself in general is it's not widely encouraged in Vietnam. So I'm just excited to be a face that they can recognize, and a familiar face that they might want to be in the future.
There's some awesome strikers in Vietnam. I've commentated on Letway quite a lot, and there's quite a lot of
Yeah,
Vietnamese Letway fighters right now in World Letway Championship, and down there some very good strikers. So
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
exciting. There's a lot
yeah.
of crossover with One Championship as well. So
Yeah, Vietnam has a lot of old school boxing roots. So
is there a goal? I mean, it's so difficult with everything that's going on, but is there like a rough goal, like, right, halfway through 2021, we want to be there and we want it to be in Ho Chi Minh? Is there kind of a loose target?
yeah, I don't know. If you're asking what my vision would be and my ideal would be, would to be in the Grand Prix, and make it to the final, the semifinals, and have one of those events in Vietnam. That would be incredible. That would mean the world to every single young person and young girl in Vietnam. So if I can get a chance to do that, that would be it.
Well, there's a lot of exciting fighters, you know, yourself and Martin included, and we could kind of almost start looking at what kind of dream card we'd want to put together. So it's really exciting from an Asian perspective, Asian MMA perspective, that
Yeah.
Vietnam is on the table now. So that's very cool.
Yes. Yes.
Great to catch up with you. Thanks for your time as ever. Looking forward to seeing you back in action against Jihin. That's going to be a good one in Singapore. Um,
Yes.
yeah, looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big one.